FoxtoberFest
This
page or Foxy
is
events?
a celebration of the fact that Prestige Motorsports is the new presenting sponsor for Foxtoberfest 2023. So Foxtoberfest, if you don't know, is an all-Fox show, the original all-Fox show, that is happening in Concord, North Carolina at Charlotte Motor Speedway, October 10th through the 14th. So it's a 5-day event, 2 show days this year, Friday and Saturday. And we're back in the show lot that we were in for Foxtoberfest 2021. So in front of the grandstands, like that big, beautiful pavement that's black and like fantastic. So we're back in that lot again, 2 days this year. So we're gonna start moving this way, and we're gonna tell you more about Prestige Motorsports. You can get all of the information about Foxtoberfest at foxy.events. That is the new website. Foxy Events is the new attraction company for Foxtoberfest. I am Jen, and I have been the event organizer for Foxtoberfest this entire time, and I am continuing to be just under a new umbrella this now, Foxy Events. And so we are, Doug is going to join me in just a second, but here he comes. This is Doug Aiken. He is the owner of Prestige Motorsports. Come on in. You're welcome. So I'd like to thank you for being part of Foxtoberfest for 5 years now.
Yep.
Since 2018. So Prestige has been a vendor since 2018 with us. And also we asked them to be a stop on our Fox Hunt, which is our poker run. And they immediately said yes, and a lot of you have stopped by here. But another cool thing is that they also immediately invited us to their cookout that they have for their workers here once a week and on Fridays. And so they were like, yeah, you should bring your people, and we should, for this cookout, which I think says a lot about, A, that you have a cookout every week for your employees, and then secondly, that you just like welcomed our Fox people in immediately, like we're family. So thank you for that. That's
No
really,
problem. Well, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So Doug was telling me that he is also a Fox person, so I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about that.
Whoa. Well, when she asked me that was, have you ever owned one? Well, I've definitely owned quite a few. Wrecked a few, rolled a few, sold a few. And I'm thinking now I've got the itch to build another one.
Yes, absolutely.
That way I can join the event and actually have my own car.
Yes, yes, I know that feeling. Okay, so Doug is going to take us through a tour of the shop, which I have just went through, and it is like, if you're like a car nerd, this will like blow your mind. So come on, Doug's going to show us around, and we're going to see what cool stuff they have here in their shop.
So for those of you that haven't seen videos, haven't been here before, obviously we got a few facets of business. One being where we're standing, the car shop. So we do full-on restorations, full builds, even basic transmission installs or EFI upgrades. Behind you, the film man is our hub dyno. It's not hooked to this Fox body, but full dyno facility, and then.
Yeah, the thing's but being a little fidgety.
You can always take it out.
I think that's what I'm going to do real quick. Yeah. Hold on, guys. Camera guy. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. Technical difficulties by the camera operator.
So, like I said, car shop, basically do just about anything you want, and then the full engine manufacturing. So, as we kind of walk through, we do our own CMC machining, so kind of show you all that and take you on back. If anybody has any questions, I guess you just ask and then let me know.
Yeah, pop the questions on there, and we'll have them answered for you.
So, and you'll see too, so we do not only Fox bodies, but late model, early model. We have a little bit of everything. I am a Fox body guy, so you probably see that. But obviously, we do a lot of Fords. Everything that's in here is staged for dyno. So anything's bagged up right now is waiting to be tested. A lot of Fords, obviously. We do a lot for the Fox body community, but Cobra Kit cars, just a lot of different stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, Snowball Ford is your number one seller right now.
I would say so. I mean, we do everything, but I think it's just that community is just it's super strong for us. So that's why people see so many.
The parts market itself is quite hot right now.
Yep.
That's the majority of their piece.
I don't know if anybody can hear me because of the machine, but we do cut our own cylinder heads. So like Ford guys, Fox bodies, we have an AFR casting that we use for CNC. We do a Brodex casting, track 1. We've got the high rams. We do CMC port upgrades for the high rams. So if a guy doesn't have the money for a billet, he can kind of get halfway there by doing the CNC on the high ram. So. Yeah. I mean, you can if you want to see.
Yeah, let's see.
It's cutting right now, so I mean.
Right now.
Yeah.
I nerded out about this earlier. I was like, look at it.
I'm pretty sure. So that I think that's our 195 CNC head. So we do a 195 and a 200, and then the 220. So I think this is kind of here. Yeah. So let's kind of give an idea, like a little bit more advanced. Brodex casting, track 1. That's our 220 program. And then this is a HR 195, so kind of for our hot rod series stuff, full port. And then just everything that we do is all in-house. So the valve job, like we just purchased this new 30, it's bad to the bone. That's a pretty killer seat and guide machine. You know, back in the day, this is what you used. It's still good. There's nothing wrong with it, but that thing kicks its rear. I mean, it's a lot faster too. So production-wise, it makes sense. That's actually one of the high rams at CMC. This was like prototype manifold. So this was done by hand, digitize it, then cut it. So.
Paul is asking you to talk about the heads and the heads and pistons that you guys make.
So, well, cylinder heads, like I said, the track 1s, the pistons. We use multiple companies, but J&E's done them for us. DSS Racing, Race Tech, Auto Tech. We pretty much, it depends on the build, but we use a variety of them. Is there anything specific on the cylinder heads?
What's the difference? He noted or put up as additional comment.
What's that?
Yeah, that's talk about the PM heads and pistons you make. What's the difference?
Well, I'll say the PM heads versus like a manufacturer, say AFR or somebody else, or
I assume so.
That's a quick
Yeah,
question we can answer.
yeah.
everything's balanced in-house. He's still working, that's good. So, and I don't know if you've even seen when he showed you the tour, like we've ran out of space here, so basically everything went upstairs. So above the CNC and above all these mezzanines is all parts. So what we do, if we're gonna build 10 or 15 engines that week, we run upstairs with carts, pull all the parts, drop those carts down in this room over here is where we stage all those carts. So whatever those engines are that we're building that week, that's kind of how we've been able to utilize the lack thereof space.
Yeah, you guys have outgrown it.
And he followed up with yes. So I guess towards AFR and stuff like other manufacturers.
Yeah, so the way you want it. So let's just say if we're doing a 8,500 RPM engine and we want titanium valves and Inconel seat, or not Inconel seat, copper beryllium seats. If we buy an AFR head complete, they're a good head, but we have to cut all that stuff out of it. So by utilizing their casting or Brodex casting, we have a clean slate. So we're not taking seats out and replacing them with what we want. We just start with what we want. So it really just depends, but it just gives us more flexibility. Obviously, we try to be par as far as power or flow numbers, either as good or better. You know, that's obviously the whole deal to the game. You know, you want to have a bit better product, but it's really just flexibility.
Nice.
So this is a assembly room. So a lot of typically what we do, we have 3 assemblers, but what we try to do is short block in one area. So he's got everything laid out, measure all the pistons, bearing clearances, everything is done in that area. So once it's short block, then it can roll to final assembly.
It's like more efficient to do it that way.
Yeah, yeah. You know, and you're keeping every station has those same tools, but it definitely it is a little bit more efficient to do it that way.
Yeah, for sure.
Is there any other questions?
Can we go to the dyno room?
Yeah, looks like they turned the lights off. I think they rolled the thing out. So unfortunately,
okay. Oh, yep.
there's not much to look at.
Okay.
Well, here you go. Those guys that want boost. So we do everything from, we'll say, as low as 400. I don't know, I know 350 horsepower just doesn't sound exciting, but there's people that want, you know, 350, 380, like a little 331, and we'll do those. Primarily, I'd say our bread and butter is 400 to 600. And then this was a F1X, what we just finished running on a 427. I think C16, it was like 1370s.
Yes, I saw
8,000
it.
RPM
Yeah.
motor. It's pretty
It was impressive.
fun pieces. So, you know, it's a wide range, you know.
Yeah, you guys kind of do a little bit of everything, and you do whole packages too. So not just the engines, you do the transmissions and the.
Correct.
Talk about all the other pieces that you.
So primarily that really came from necessity. You know, it's kind of like anything. If you see a problem, try to fix it. So as we're manufacturing more and more engines, the common thing we'd see is guys that, you know, call with overheating issues, or this transmission issue, or it doesn't shift the way I want it, or fuel delivery was a problem. So they always bought the motor but forgot about everything else. So obviously having the car center, we kind of use that as, I always called it tuition, you know. So we kind of figured out what radiators we want to use, what fuel systems. So the whole package really kind of was out of necessity to try to keep customers that were not as knowledgeable in what they needed and keep them out of trouble.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, sometimes not everybody's ready to spend 20, 25 grand, even though the motor only is a 450 horsepower engine, but it's engine, turnkey, transmission, fuel delivery, cooling system, headers, exhaust.
Yeah. And you know when you get it, everything works together and has been tested and like
Right.
run through. So you're not trying to put things on that later and you're like, oh, that doesn't go with that, or you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We do have another question. What's a good ballpark price tag for a build street strip motor? I think you can speak on variants.
Yeah, I mean, the cheapest thing that we have that you could call street strip, like 347 stock block, is going to start at $7 grand, and that's just a long block. So then we add fuel and ignition, pulleys and accessories, and just go on from there. Just like I said, the whole package. So it grows from there. But say $7,000 long block price to a boost ready 427. So street strip still falls in that. You're going to start in the 14, 15 range on a long block that's good for 1,000, 1,500 horsepower. So pretty broad range. It really depends what you're doing.
Yeah. So if people are interested in getting a crate motor from you, what's the procedure there? How should they go about it?
So I'm pretty excited that in probably at least a month or two, our new site will allow you to build all those options out.
Yes.
So it may be too much options for some people, you know.
Overwhelming.
Yeah, but we'll still review it. But so that's going to empower you to know, okay, I'm going to add, I want a long block at 500. I want to add this pulley kit, and there's pictures with everything and a description, what it fits, what it doesn't. It's kind of somewhat of a setup, like a hierarchy. You can't choose this if it's incorrect for the application.
Okay, yeah.
So it's taken us a long time. But when they do that, at the end, you'll know kind of what that whole deal is. At this point, if you fire us just even a simple email, I'm interested in a package or a price, we're going to fire you off another questionnaire. Do you need a cooling system? Do you want a 5-speed trans, or is it an auto? Is it a 5-speed? And we're going to search for more info.
Yeah.
And then when we receive that, usually we have enough to give you an itemized list from, you know, front to back. So at that point, it's a good roadmap. Even if the guy's not really ready to spend whatever it is, 15, 20, 25, you can at least see the whole item list and say, well, I'll do my fuel system later or the cooling system later. So it gives a good roadmap to move forward, make tweaks, change it.
Yeah.
Do whatever you need.
And can you talk about data plates on builds? Someone asked about, like, just talking about that part.
Yeah, so if I think what you're asking is like, so we have a small engine tag. It's actually an aluminum tag with an adhesive, and it's got the engine number. It says custom built by Prestige. It's very small. It goes on the timing cover of a small block Ford. We kind of place it in other areas on LS and GM and so forth. But There is plaques that they have.
You can't be wearing that in here.
So
Size you wear.
we have a plaque that you know that you can put the engine information on if you're wanting to put it in the engine bay. I'm not sure if that's what you're asking.
I think that's probably what it is, because the person that added it, it's a nice touch. So I think they have inside info on that.
Gotcha. Well, and you know that's been a discussion. I guess I don't know. It's humbling to have somebody want to put our name on their stuff. I guess I look at these custom builds, and the last thing I want to see is this plaque, even if it's got my name on it. You know, so I was against it. Everybody else internally is like, we need to have this. Everybody's asking about it. So out of curiosity, if people are like, yeah, I would have a plaque, or I would run your valve cover, I guess that's how you win me over. I'll make them. You know, but
Yeah.
I'm noticed a little bit weird that way. You know?
I mean, it could just be an add-on. If you do feel weird about it, it could just be an add-on. Like, do you want this? It could be free,
Sure.
but do you want this?
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So
he helped you
He
put the
did,
shirt.
Yeah.
yeah. And then pretty soon, so the every time you see the FoxtoberFest logo for the rest of the year, it will have the Prestige Motorsports logo with it. So Prestige Motorsports presents FoxtoberFest, which I'm super excited about. So.
You know, it's kind of funny. I think back, and now knowing, I've been a Fox Body guy forever, got in the business of engines and cars, and then to be kind of like a part of Foxtoberfest is like, wow. And watching it grow over the years has just been awesome, you know. So I think it's going to be great. I'm kind of eager to see, you know, in the next 5 years what it does.
You probably don't remember this, but like, after the first, you guys were there and you brought your, like, the cart that had like the whole drivetrain on it.
Yep.
And like after the show the first time, like I asked you how it went, and you were like, oh my God, that was great.
Oh, yeah.
Because I guess, you know, I didn't realize at the time that you were a Fox guy, but like being surrounded by that many Foxes and you're just like, you know, kind of in heaven, it's the happiest place on earth, you guys. If you love Foxes, last year we had 726 at the show, which is just mind-blowing. So it's like when you're there and you're a Fox person, it's like you're just in heaven.
That's cool.
Yeah. So their website is prestigemoto.com, and check that. Go there, and like you said, email them. They have a phone number, whatever. Get in touch on their socials. They do have information on their current website in a Fox-specific area, but it's, you know, it's not as in depth as Doug was saying with that they're working on to get it so that you can customize what your build looks like. So that's really exciting, and that looks like that's coming out in like a month. So once that does come out, we'll push it out to all of you so that you can go on there and do your dream build.
Yeah, feedback's important too. We thought about letting like a beta version so you can go test it. What do you like? What do you not like? Whether it's negative feedback, I'll look at it as constructive, but we encourage it, as many people use it and give us feedback if we can change things, you know, if there is too many options, whatever that is. So it'd be good to know the feedback, definitely.
Yeah. We got one last question before we close out. At your shop, what's your most popular motor build people are getting, and are people going with power adders more than all motor?
That's a good question. So I'm going to say probably the top mover for us is a 575 horsepower 427. So and NA, but we do a lot of boosted stuff. So it just depends. If I was probably only a Ford shop, I might be able to answer that a little bit tighter. But I mean, we're doing big block Chevys, you know, Whipple charged boat motors to,
Wow.
you know, it's so the variety is. If you anytime that you guys have had everybody come over here for the show,
Yeah.
is one of the things that I overheard people is like, oh my God, every single motor looks different. Like whether it's a different valve cover, this one's Whipple charged, this one's Pro charged. I don't really have a preference, you know, as long as they make steam and you can burn tires, that's all that matters.
Hell yeah.
And we have one more question. I would say, what's the top horsepower number you've ever seen with a Ford block and dependability?
Ooh. Yeah, so you're talking stock Ford block. I'm not going to say it's reliable, but we have made close to 600 on a 302 base block. Personally, a Windsor, I hadn't really pushed much past that. I know there's people that talk that they've done that, concrete filled girdles. You can do all that stuff. I was having that discussion earlier with that other customer, Mexican block versus not, and quite frankly, it's just, you know, if you're going to build something to go beat the tar out of it, just buy an aftermarket block. I mean, you know, girdles and all that stuff are good. And when you get into all that, like if you're a SCCA racer, you have to, and I'm just using that term or that class, but if it's class specific and you have to run a stock block, then yes, searching out that Mexican casting and doing a girdle, all those things make sense. But if it's a street car and we're just looking for durability and strength, I mean, it's readily available. I just spend the money, and you know, and to even that gentleman, he's like, well, you know, it's certainly more money, you know, but at the end of the day, how nice is the car? So even some drag racers, they'll say like, well, if it breaks, I'll fix it. You know, I'm saving whatever it is, $4,000 to $5,000. Yeah. Let's just consider oil the track down, crash the car. Yeah. How much is the car worth just because you cheaped out on the block? So that's my opinion on that. You know.
But that's good advice, and that's, you know, experience for you to be able to tell them what, you know, what.
When I said I crashed,
oh yeah, he did. He
yeah,
did
that's where some of that
knowledge.
That's where that knowledge comes from.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Doug. This was awesome, and thank you again for the sponsorship. So more to come about Prestige Motorsports throughout the year on the channel. So thanks you guys for joining us, and more to come. We'll see ya.